Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you with us again for Teams at 10. It's another beautiful Tuesday morning in Cooma and up the road at Mullumbimby too, I think, with Jen. Hi, Jen.
We go.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone.
So first of all, I just wanted to start with a really big thank you for all the useful kind of insights that you gave us at the end of last session and re-registering into this series on suggested topics that you'd like to hear about. So you had a range of issues like focus, motivation, time management, trust, accountability, habits, managing change, you name it. There was all sorts of things in there. So we feel like we've got a real goodie bag of stuff that we can work through with you over the next few weeks. So thanks so much for giving us your feedback. So we decided, based on the feedback that we got, that today's webinar is probably the first of a little webinar mini-series, very exciting, on managing your time and maintaining your attention. That seemed to be a bit of a theme that was coming out of the feedback. So we think we're going to do it in sort of 3 chunks. And the first one today is really about bringing yourself to focus attention and, coming to presence in the first place. And we're going to give you a few little structures around that too. Episode 2 next week will be around sort of identifying those derailers. What are those things that knock you sideways and take you out of your attention once you've found it? And how do you bounce back from that? And the third episode, depending how we go, is going to be around a foundational leadership practice that we think can help you overcome pretty much any barrier or blocker that you might discover, and that is reflection. So watch this space. So little sort of 3 group episodes around these key issues. So today's episode is really, as I said, going to be about bringing yourself to focus attention and really managing your time and bringing that attention to what you're focusing on at the moment. So Jennifer's going to take us through how to actually do that, how to train your attention, so to speak. And then I'm going to share with you some structures that are like a little scaffold that you can use to, again, focus on what's really important for you and help you get some structure around your day or your week. So without further ado, over to you, Jen. Let's focus on that attention.
Okay, thanks, Anna. Well, you can think of what we're going to do next as a metaphorical daily vitamin for developing your attention and focus. And what I'm talking about is mindfulness meditation. Now, some of you might hear that phrase and think, oh no, Anna and Jen are going to drag us off to a yoga retreat or something. Don't panic, we're not. What we are going to do, however, is introduce you to a very simple, pragmatic, evidence-based workout for your attention. And once you've developed that attention muscle, that focus muscle a little bit, you'll find that you can keep your attention and regain your focus more quickly when it inevitably gets hacked. And as Anna said, we'll talk more about that next week. And here's my overarching why for mindfulness practice. It helps us put some space or some distance between ourselves and our automatic thoughts and reactions. And as leaders, I think practicing mindfulness or attention training, whatever you want to call it, it really helps support us to be responsibility-centered leaders. And if you were listening last week, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so the basics about mindfulness practice or attention training in a nutshell, I'll cover that, and then we'll do a little mini 1-minute practice together. So the aim of mindfulness is not about quieting the mind or about kind of attaining some eternal calm or bliss. That's not the aim of it. The aim of it is to practice paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Easier said than done, we know. So today's session for our attention training mini workout, we're going to simply focus on the breath. Now, why the breath? Because the breath is something that is there with us all the time. So you can use the breath as an anchor to the present moment. It's really as simple as that. And throughout the practice, you might find yourself caught up in thoughts or emotions or sounds. That's all really normal. So whenever you find your mind wandering off, you just come back to paying attention to your breath. And even if you only come back once, that's okay. You're training your attention. So here we go. I invite you to sit comfortably wherever you are And make sure that the bottoms of your feet, both feet, are on the ground. And straighten your upper body, but don't stiffen it. So you just want to find this nice length. And let's do this for a moment. Let's just bring our shoulders up, breathe in and bring your shoulders up to your ears. And then as we exhale, we're just going to let them drop. Right. And rest your arms or hands wherever they feel most natural for you. And soften your gaze. Let your eyes relax. Soften your gaze. Drop your chin a little bit and let your gaze fall gently downward. It's not necessary to close your eyes. You can if you like to, but it's not necessary. And if you're just dropping your gaze, you can simply let whatever appears before your eyes just be there without focusing on it. And feel your breath. Bring your attention to your breath, to the physical sensation of breathing, the sensation of the air moving through your nostrils or your mouth, or it might be you're bringing your attention to the rising and falling of your belly or your chest as you breathe. And over the next minute, your attention will leave, most likely, and wander to other places. Don't worry if it does. There's no need to block or eliminate thinking. The practice, again, is to notice when your mind is wandering and gently return your attention back to your breath. That's it. And be kind to your wandering mind, everyone. You might find your mind wandering constantly. That's normal too. Don't wrestle with your thoughts. Just practice observing them without reacting. Just sit and pay attention and come back to your breath. Okay, I'm going to hit the 1 minute timer. Okay, when you're ready, gently lift your gaze and take a moment to notice any sounds in the environment. Notice how your body feels right now. Notice your thoughts and your emotions. And that's the practice. It's simple, yet not easy, but the results build over time. All right, Anna, I'm going to pass back to you.
Thank you. Now we've got you all in a nice, calm, relaxed, focused state. Let's move on to some little sort of scaffolds and structures that you can use. And I guess just bouncing on what Jen said, you know, 1 minute a day, who can't do that? So it's your vitamin or your gym workout for the day, 1 minute a day. Be amazing how much difference it makes if you can stick to it. Okay, scaffolds. So I want to give you some, again, pragmatic little things that you can try, again, to, you know, when you have your attention, what are you bringing it back to? Okay, so those things that you want to get done during the day. And I guess predominantly we're thinking about work, but again, you might have some things that you want to achieve at home that you also want to bring your attention to. So let's kind of talk a little bit about that. And I know we're right up at the 10 minutes, but I'm going to steal some time from question time, okay? So I'm going to talk about 3 different ways that you can do this, and think of it like an experiment. You can try some of them, all of them. Maybe you've already got an existing one that really works for you. And the first one I want to talk about is really simple. It's one thing that you're going to do for the day. And an ex-manager of mine, he used to have this thing in his diary called TOTD. It would be like an hour or an hour and a half blocked out. And I was like, Charlie, what is that TOTD? Task of the day. Okay, so he would pick one thing that he really wanted to do, and every day he would have a block of time in his diary where whatever that thing happened to be, that's where he would do it. So actually allocating time for task of the day. So if you think you can wrap your head around one most important thing that you want to do, task of the day is a really good way of doing it. So block a little bit of time in your diary. That's when you're going to do that one thing. That's option number one. Option number two, if you think you can manage a little bit more, is 3 things that you want to achieve over the course of the week. So I had a coaching client who's from a big telecoms company, and she said at the beginning of the week, what I do is I think about what are the 3 most important conversations I'm going to have. And I prepare for those conversations, and, you know, can't prepare super well for every single conversation, but what are the 3 most important ones? And then at the end of the week, I review, how did those 3 conversations actually go? So a little bit of planning and reflection. You could do that for conversations. You could do that for meetings. You could do that for projects. What are those 3 important things that you want to set up for success in your week? So that's the second option. The third option is called the Ivy Lee method. Some of you might have heard of this. Ivy Lee was a productivity consultant in the early 1900s. And the strategy that Ivy Lee used was to every day, at the end of the day, think about what are those 6 things that are most important that need to get done tomorrow. So you would brain dump your 6 items, and then you would prioritize them. So, you know, what was my number 1 thing of that list? And you would write yourself a list from 1 to 6 of things that you were going to do the following day. And when you get to work the following day, here's your list ready to go. And you start with number 1, and you don't move off it until you're done. Maybe task number 1 takes you all day. That's fine. So at the end of the day, again, you have a look at your list. Maybe you've completed 1 or 2 things. So what are those other 2 things you're going to do? And again, reprioritize the list. And then you would, you know, do the same again and repeat. So it's 6 things that you want to get done, and you write the list the night. So the key to this one is writing the list the night before. So reviewing the end of your day, making your list, and then getting ready to move forward with that when you come to work in the morning. That's a strategy that I use. I find it really helpful because in the morning, I don't need to think about what I'm doing, already prepared. Get to it, off you go, and you usually find that you get a few quick wins. So there's 3 little scaffolds that you could try. Task of the day, you know, 1 thing for the day and block some time in. 3 things for the week that are really important to focus on, or the Ivy Lee method with your review at the end of the day and setting up for your 6 items for tomorrow. So if you want to talk to me more about that, please do. You might have a few questions. And I think we have a little question in the chat box, Jennifer. What do we have?
Yes, we do. From Sharon. Thanks, Sharon. What are the signs to look for to know you need to take a minute? And I think that's well connected to our poll. So for me, I notice if my body starts getting tense, like my shoulders start coming up here around my ears, or if I just have this frazzled feeling, like I'm kind of running around in a circle chasing my tail, or if I just can't think straight anymore, if I'm starting to shout at the kids or the dog. Those are a few, colleagues. Or my work colleagues. Those are a few that come top of mind to me. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, I would say mind chatter. When your mind is getting so busy and you're supposed to be having a conversation with someone, but inside you're going, oh, for God's sake, I haven't got time for this. Blah, blah, blah. That's timeout time for me. So, you know, and again, if you can step back, take that 1 minute, even if you signal that in a meeting, you know what, guys, can we just have a 1 minute break or 5-minute break, and you can go and do the recentering, you know, or even listen to your breathing in the meeting. That can really bring you back into focus again. So really good question, Sharon.
Yeah, and I think the point, Sharon, and others, of the mindfulness practice, of it being a daily practice, or, you know, 3-day a week or 5-day a week practice, 1 minute, 5 minutes, if you could even work up to 10 minutes, it's a way that our body and our mind start to get trained to, when we have these derailers, that we can more quickly find our way back to center and have that, like I said, that little bit of space between ourselves and our automatic thoughts and reactions. So that's the point of the practice.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Well, everybody, as you know, we're right at the end again. So we're 16 minutes in. We've stolen an extra minute of your time. So hopefully that's going to set you up for success with your focus and attention for today. Love to know how you go. Please email us with your thoughts, comments, observations, and we'll look forward to knocking these derailers out of the park next week. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.